We have a very, very special relationship with Israel, so they have to be very
different categories of special. Quick last word on this, Jimmy Williams.
Israel's negotiating with the wrong Arabs. They should not be negotiating with the Palestinians. They have no money. They have no power. They should be having conversations with everybody around them. The one country that everybody in the Middle East should be scared the hell out of is Iran. They're going to build nuclear weapons. Yeah, well, guess what? what did Bibi say today? Let's see. Greatest danger of all is a militant Islamic regime armed with a nuclear weapon. That's Iran.
And everyone can agree on.
You got it.
We'll be watching this. Next topic, very important and provocative documentary on Frontline tonight that's going to be airing on the Bradley Manning WikiLeaks situation that apparently, it's not quite clear from the way they've teased it, but it's going to show some new potential connections between Julian Assange and Manning before the leak actually occurred. We've got some sound from that. Let's give it a listen, and then we'll talk about it.
I couldn't believe it. It didn't seem true. I guess part of me probably believed that this would turn out to not, be anything. And well, I guess I was wrong.
Karen, do we know, we don't obviously know everything that's going to be in the documentary tonight, but it does look like they're trying to move in a way that may, some people are saying, could help the government's case against Assange.
Well, that's been sort of a key piece, is whether or not the government can actually prove, and it sounds like what they're suggesting is that you have Assange and perhaps some kind of intermediary, and then Mr. Manning. And it sounds like this is going to help set that case up, which I think is important, because it sounds like, Assange is as, guilty as anyone in all of this. So I hope that the government can make their case against him, and that he is under the Espionage Act, and that we actually can get justice.
And yet, in any leak, isn't there always, if it's to the Washington Post or the New York Times, isn't there a quote-unquote intermediary somehow?
You would think so. I mean, it just seems that's the process, and I think that's why we haven't seen Manning prosecuted yet, and why he's been where he is in this holding pattern, is because the federal government has been trying to make that case to Assange, and whether it was an intermediary or whether Assange could have potentially reached out to him directly.
Well, it could also be, if the Frontline stuff is to be credited, when we know all the details, that Assange may have not been fully forthcoming about what his own contacts are. Does that lead us to an obstruction of justice, kind of the second-order charge that you always get?
Yeah, good luck getting him back into the United States. Look, it's simple. If Manning did what he did, they ought to try him, and they ought to put his ass before a firing squad and light him up, because his treason.
Light them all up. Come on, fire. Roger. Keep shooting. Keep shooting.
Bushmaster 2-6. Bushmaster 2-6. We need to move time now.
All right, we just engaged all 8 individuals. Now we have 2 Americans. We're still firing. Roger. Got him.
6 is a 2-6. We'll move, but we got this.
Oh, sorry. Well,
bypass.
God damn it, Kyle. All right. I hit him.
I would prefer to look at this Bradley Manning, the young man they're accusing of leaking these cables. Currently, they're holding him in Quantico in solitary confinement, and he's been charged, he could be charged in prison for 52 years. Well, I find it very interesting that the first thing that was released was a video of a helicopter massacring innocent people on a street corner. Now, the whistleblower Manning is in prison for releasing that, but the people who murdered these people are going free, and Manning is the culprit and not the men in the chopper who committed murder. It's a classic case of kill the messenger, not the message.
Another fair point.
It's not about justice, it's not about agenda, it's not about mobilizing people, it's about dialing for corporate dollars. These two parties have sold the U.S. government and the American people to the highest bidders.